Hello and welcome to the Nameless Ones. My name is Aveen and I am your angel healer, spirit guide, meditation teacher. Let's look at the energy weather for April. What soul themes are going to be going on for you in April of 2024? So the first thing that the angels are saying for the collective that is watching this is it's time for you to take back your power. So, in March of 2024, many of you had to make life-changing decisions. There was a very, very intense and powerful moon activity in March, and that Pisces full moon really pushed us to claim our truth, claim our sovereignty, and to own what's truly ours. So we had to choose between the 3D world, the 3D identity, the 3D lifestyle, and our souls were asking us to choose and to connect to our 5D energy, our 5D worldview, and the 5D soul that we are coming into being with. So this was quite a challenge for most of us. This was very scary for some of you. And it really, really cranked up the pressure. It really cranked up the intensity of what this expansion and this extension is requiring from us. Nobody said that the spiritual path was easy. Nobody said that the spiritual path was simple. Sometimes though, as humans, we often complicate things and we can make things far more complex than they need to be. But down here in the terra firma, the physical life, that high density, for those of us who are more soulful, more high conscious, more in tune with our spiritual side, it can make being in the 3D structure, the matrix, incredibly difficult. And I just want to extend compassion and mercy to you, because if you're resonating with this message, you know the kind of struggle I'm talking about. And it can really take its toll. You know, our souls can ask a lot of us, and the human body, especially the carbon body, which is transforming into a crystalline body, that can really struggle with what is required and what's asked of us. So if you've been going through that, I send you angel blessings, extra cushion of love at this time. We are in the middle of an eclipse sandwich right now, so there's a lot going on. I'm just going to get some fizzy water, sparkling water. We had our first eclipse, and now on April 8th we're coming into that second eclipse. So we're in the middle, we're in a sandwich between those energies. So let's have a look at what the angels have to say about this upcoming eclipse. And I'm just saying to place your energy into the cards when I do that. It's just such a habit with working with people. I almost forget to say it now. So this 8th of April eclipse, solar eclipse, we had our lunar eclipse, we're having the solar eclipse, is going to bring a big focus on relationships in your life. And I feel for most of you watching, this will highlight your personal relationship, your significant major main relationship or relationship. So it could be it can be with a partner, with a spouse. It can also be with family. And we do have soulmates in our family. And often it's the person that, as I say that to you, you think, oh, I couldn't be soulmates with that family member. That's often your soulmate, believe it or not. That's how this stuff works. From the 3D human perspective, it's bananas, right? But from the soul, from the higher self, it makes perfect sense. So we have get grounded. So that is so obvious, I think, as advice with this eclipse, because eclipse energy has a tendency to unground us, and it does unearth things. It kicks up the earth, the ground, literally under our feet. Okay, so there can also be more earthquakes, more like disturbances in the earth's, in the frequency of the earth, the Schumann resonance. We can have more solar flares, we can have all kinds of Gaia activity around eclipses. And you saw that Baltimore bridge got destroyed and crumbled as well. So it's so symbolic that the bridges, the things that we would have used to bridge the gap in our alignment, in our moods, in our energy levels, in our challenges in life. This eclipse season is burning bridges to the past. It is burning bridges to your old life. So get grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. Okay. So this is a great time to up your self-care practice. So that means extra rest. I always think around eclipse season, it's wise to get extra rest, extra fluid, extra water, time in water. If you can go for a dip, that's brilliant. Time in the woods, barefoot is best. And I would say one of the most important things for self-care, and I don't think it's really said much, is that we prioritize connection. And I mean without a screen. I mean connection with flesh and blood, human beings, connection with our community, with our partner, with our friendships, with our friends, with our loved ones, with our children. Real time. Put the phone away, turn off the phone, and to really be in a space of love and kindness and compassion, because you'll see it even in your family members with those who do not resonate with astrology or energy work. They'll be feeling this, even if they don't necessarily understand on a physical level, on a conscious level, what's happening in the energies in the cosmos. Everybody is going to feel this April 8th eclipse on some level. So to be mindful of that and to be extra patient with people and perhaps a little bit more generous with your time, with your light. Okay? Keepers of the earth, you are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. There's a huge increase in the expansion of ancestral healing at this time. I've seen this with the people I work with. I've seen this in my own personal life. I really feel like my grandparents, especially my grandmother and my great-grandmother, have been reaching out to me much more through the veil. So the veil is thinner. So if there's family trauma, and most families have some kind of trauma, some more than others, you might be feeling that they are reaching out to you and that they are asking you to clear certain ancestral patterns that are causing pain, causing struggle. And you may be asked as a soul, as a high sensitive, to take on the work of clearing your family's traumatic patterns. And if you don't know how to do this, if you're not sure how to move forward with this, you can book a session with me. You can book a session with a genuine, natural, authentic healer who can help you to work through how those negative definitions that are buried in your subconscious and in your bloodline, how you can bring that up to the surface and how you can work through that, okay? The Great Gathering, it's all coming together. Intuitive hits, soul tribe. So you're going to feel a greater calling to connect with your soul tribe. You may feel that your friends that you have a particular spiritual understanding with, people that you can talk freely to in your friendship circle, you're probably going to be drawn more to them around the eclipse season, because I'm getting the word safety. It's like you feel safe when you're talking to this person because you know you can totally be yourself and share your belief systems, and you know there's no judgment, you know there's no rolling of the eyes, okay? So the Great Gathering is, there are many people, many souls gathering in the energy on the eclipse. So there is much more spiritual circles, meditation groups, spiritual groups, women's groups, men's group coming together now. You're going to see this more than ever. People are craving ritual. People are craving a physical demonstration of their spiritual self and of their belief system, and an honoring of their souls and the fact that we are more than these physical bodies. Now, I think this is so apt that we pull this card for the eclipse. Boundaries. Oh, how many times do we have to face that old chestnut, especially as high sensitives and empaths? Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Just take a minute to think about that. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? I'm getting this message now for somebody. For someone who has a friend or a colleague who has no respect for your boundaries, yeah, I'm talking to you. You're going to find that if you stop engaging with that person at the victimhood level, and this is just good spiritual advice from the angels for anyone who in general is struggling with boundaries with a particular person or situation. It could be your mother-in-law. It could even be your partner. It could be your sister. When that person comes to you, and just say they call you on the phone or they come to your house or you meet them for coffee, and they are going into that script. And let's be honest, when people are in a martyr victimhood role, it's a script, it's a program that they're tapping into in their consciousness, right? It's very important, and for those of you who are healers like myself, this is also a really good tip, that you do not buy into their script. You do not buy into their negative timeline, their story. You have to stay conscious. And this can be really difficult because the empath in you wants to soothe and reach out, right? You want to reach out to this person who's clearly in pain and suffering. We still have compassion for that. That's who we are. We are compassionate beings. But it's important that you stay conscious and you focus that consciousness towards the person who's clearly unconscious. And by not offering advice, don't jump into advice mode. Don't jump into coach mode and healer mode and trying to fix and solve this person's stuff. Try and resist doing that, because actually the minute you're doing that, you've abandoned yourself. You've abandoned that person's higher self, because the higher self knows that this story that they've bought into isn't true. It's an illusion. It's vital that you stay true to the aligned version of your friend, of your mother-in-law, of your fill in the blank. And simply hold a loving space for them. And you'll see as they ramble off this script that they're so used to investing time and energy into, and they're so used to believing. Now, I'm not saying that they're doing this most of the time. This is done completely unconscious, with no bad intent, and certainly no intent to exhaust you or to drain your energy. A lot of the time with energy vampires, it's unconscious stuff. But nevertheless, whether there's an intent or not, that's not the point. The point is, you need to stay true to your energy, and you need to stay in the light of God. You need to stay true to trusting that this person has an inner being that's looking out for them as much as your inner being is looking out for you. If you buy into the victimhood, you're basically cutting off the understanding, the higher consciousness, that this person has as much support from the angels as you do. So step back. Don't offer immediate solutions and solving and soothing. Step back and let the person listen to themselves. Let them hear their unconscious script playing out, because what you'll find is it's like they actually start to listen to themselves, and then their higher self, because there's space there and you're not rushing in to put the band-aid on, to put the plaster on the sore. Just by holding a space, we actually give people permission to really truly hear themselves, and to hear their soul going, hang on a minute, this isn't right. I'm much more powerful than this. Like, I'm not a victim here, you know? So it's really important that you don't feed and you don't fuel that negative story. And what your angels are saying is, by having these boundaries, you're actually going to cut off the supply of that light that you've been leaking out towards that person. So this is a great way of cutting cords, cutting off leaking energy to people who are not even going to use the energy wisely. Because the thing about energy vampires is they never take the positive advice. They rarely listen to a word you have to say. They're very quick to defend their negative storyline, and they actually don't want to change or don't want help. So don't waste your energy. And your angels are saying you will actually be able to disconnect from the stress of that interaction and from the discomfort that interaction has been causing you. Okay, so that's a really important message for somebody. And for those of you who maybe don't have someone right now, I hope in the future you can use that advice and that guidance to have those clear boundaries, and to be able to just sit back and let the person, if they want to go into that unconsciousness, that's their business. But if you start trying to fix things and you start trying to solve things from a lack mentality, from a scarcity mentality, as though this person doesn't have the same access to the higher 5D consciousness that you do, well, then you're both drowning in the river. You see, you want to stay on the side. You want to stay on the banks of the river. And if they want to reach out a hand, you can go and give them a hand. Like, that's part of our jobs as empaths, as sensitives, as good human beings, right? And as spiritual human beings, we love to help and we love to see people thrive, right? That's why we do this work. But if you start complaining with that person and you start to buy into the drama, you've basically jumped in the river and you're both drowning, and you're no good to that person, and you're no good to you. So this is a really powerful message for somebody. I really hope that resonates. If you enjoyed this video, you can give me a thumbs up. and you can subscribe for more. I'm going to do lots more videos on these eclipse energies because the eclipse energy affects us for months and months and months and months down the line. And it actually sets up a trajectory for the next few years of your life, especially around April of this year. So thanks so much for being with me. It's always a pleasure. Take care.